This is a very simple recipe. As you can see, there are not much ingredients needed, and yet this is one of the family's favorite. This is called gyoza or dumpling. What I have here, and I have some scallion or a bunch of green onions. I also will be using freshly cracked black pepper. I'm going to use some of this sesame oil and soy sauce. I will also be using not the entire head of Chinese cabbage or Napa cabbage. I have 7 leaves of Chinese or Napa cabbage, and what I'm going to do is put in this pot right here, which I have boiling water. I'm not going to cook this. What I'm trying to do is just blanch this very quickly, probably for about 10-15 seconds. For the sake of those who would like to try this recipe, I will be measuring my ingredients. So I have about 4 pounds of freshly ground pork right here, and I showed you a bunch of scallion, and by the time I measure it, by the time I chop the scallion or green onions, it should measure to almost 2 cups after it's been chopped finely right there. So as you can see, that's about, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And this takes some of the moisture out. Napa cabbage, which I blanched lightly. I didn't cook it, just lightly blanch it so that it could wilt, and I drain the excess liquid out of it, as you can see right there. And this is about 1.5 cup of chopped Napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage. Okay, now I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon freshly cracked black pepper. And here's another thing. I don't normally measure, but I can't find my measuring spoon. But I would say I would add about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and notice that I did not add any salt. Remember? Okay, here is one important ingredient which I almost forgot to mention. This is about 6 cloves of chopped garlic, finely chopped garlic. Just go ahead and add that in. That looks like a lot of garlic, but remember I have about 4 pounds of ground pork here, so once you distribute this, pork to garlic ratio would just be perfect. for my taste bud, that is. Now it all depends on you. Some people don't like garlic at all, so whatever ingredients in any recipe I feel that I don't like, I just simply eliminate it. Okay, so we're going to mix the ground pork with all these ingredients that we added here: green onion, napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage, soy sauce, and sesame oil. Mix it well, and I pretty much can determine whether I put enough cabbage and green onions in here. So far it looks like it's just fine where it's at. So for this recipe, I will be posting the measurement for those of you who'd like to have the measurement and the list of the ingredients. And as you know, when I cook for my family, I don't really use recipes, and I really don't go by measurement and any sequence of recipes, because I like to taste the food that I'm cooking and see how it's coming along. So here you go, my mini burger. It's well done. I promise to put more salt into this, maybe putting a little too much, but you judge your if you do try this, judge it according to your taste. To me, what I have here is perfect. Okay, for the wrapper, I have a dumpling wrapper here. You can find this in any Oriental store inside the freezer, and it's really quite inexpensive. Okay, this is only like $2.50. So this is for our dumpling wrapper. So put about a teaspoonful of the mixture in the middle, wet the edges with water, and then go ahead and start folding the dough. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that it shows clearly on the camera. Okay, so just go around and fold, press on it so that you tighten up your dough, and there it is. Wet the edges, and then fold over several times until you created your crescent moon shape. Okay, so here are my dumplings all wrapped up. Okay, skillet is heating up, and we're going to spray a little bit of non-stick on this. Even though this got Teflon, I like to make sure that my dumpling don't stick to the skillet or your frying pan. I'll put about a tablespoon of light olive oil. Bring that to a good temperature so that the minute you put the dumplings here, it will start sizzling. So arrange your dumplings in a single layer. Okay, don't overcrowd. It's not a good idea to overcrowd. Okay, so there's our dumpling. It's sizzling. I'm going to lower the heat, put it on medium high, between 6 and 7. And now I'm going to add half a cup of water. Put the lid on it and let it cook 10 to 15 minutes. And by that time, the water should be evaporated, well absorbed by the dumplings, and it should start turning golden brown. So the water is evaporating, and I lowered the heat to between number 1 and number 2. I want this to cook nice and slow to make sure that the filling inside is thoroughly cooked. Now while that's cooking, let me show you what I do to make my dipping sauce. I have a couple of scallion or green onion. I'm going to be using soy sauce. This is optional. You could use this or you could simply eliminate this. Sesame oil. And I have rice vinegar. This is a seasoned vinegar that I have, and you could also find this unseasoned. So it's up to you. You want it seasoned or not seasoned? It's your choice. And I have some red pepper flakes, and we are going to make our dipping sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and chop my scallions. I use both. I actually like the flavor of the green part of scallions, so I use both of the green and white part of this green onion. Okay, that's probably about right there. And I'm going to add, I would say, about a quarter teaspoon of red crushed pepper, and now the vinegar to soy sauce ratio is according to your taste. Okay, I probably put about a quarter cup of, less than a quarter cup of soy sauce in there, and I will put more vinegar. Now this is really according to your taste. How tart or how salty do you want this? Now sesame oil is optional. I do love the flavor of sesame oil, so I would put a drop right there, not too much. And here's our dipping sauce. Okay, give it a taste. You determine whether you want more soy sauce or vinegar, and it's perfect. It's done. Okay, you see that? That's what you're looking for. You want the bottom of the dumpling golden brown. Okay, that's the very center of the frying pan. So here is our dumpling with the soy base dipping sauce, and I guess the only thing left to do is taste it. And actually I have my daughter here and my granddaughters, and they're bothering me because they want to eat the dumplings. So So for a very nice treat to your family, try this recipe, folks. It is a crowd pleaser.